This video discusses why Tucker Carlson, who had the most watched program on cable TV at Fox News, lost his job, and why Tom Brady of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers American football team stopped playing. Hello friends, this is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. Tucker Carlson tonight on Fox News was the highest rated evening news shows on cable television when he was fired on Monday morning, April 24, 2023. He had no anticipation of being fired because on Friday, when he signed off from his show, he stated that he would be back on Monday. Fox did not provide a reason for Carlson's termination, which fueled media speculation. Los Angeles Times reported that Fox Corporation chairman Rupert Murdoch was directly responsible for the firing because of his coverage of the January 6 U.S. Capitol events and a lawsuit by former Fox producer Annie Grossberg in Southern District of New York, accusing Carlson and Fox of sexism and harassment, alleging that his show's workplace was replete with examples of misogyny. Later, Wall Street Journal reported that Carlson was dismissed because of his criticism of Fox management using offensive language. Washington Post, however, reported that the decision to fire was made by Rupert Murdoch's son Lachlan Murdoch and Fox CEO Suzanne Scott, as she was the one who informed Tucker Carlson about his firing. On April 25, 2023, the New York Times reported a text message from Tucker Carlson to one of his producers that raised concerns with the Fox board about his behavior, which probably was an additional cause for his firing. The cause of concern, of course, was the defamation lawsuit by Dominion Voting Systems against Fox News for $1.6 billion in damages. The text had been acquired during the discovery process. However, on April 18, Fox settled the case with Dominion for $787.5 million. On May 2, 2023, the Washington Post wrote about the text message. In the message, he described himself watching a video of Donald Trump supporters beating up someone he referred to as an Antifa kid. Carlson wrote of his conflicting emotions, hinting at his dismay that he had found himself rooting for the mob against the man, hoping they'd hit him harder and kill him. But in the most startling passage, Carlson asserted flatly that jumping a guy like that is dishonorable. Obviously, it's not how white men fight. In his lengthy message sent January 7, 2021, in the hours after a violent mob stormed the Capitol, Carlson went on, "I really wanted them to hurt the kid. I could taste it. Then somewhere deep in my brain an alarm went off. This isn't good for me. I am becoming something I don't want to be. The Antifa creep is a human being. Much as I despise what he says and does, much as I'm sure I'd hate him personally if I knew him, I shouldn't gloat over his suffering. I should be bothered by it. I should remember that somewhere somebody probably loves this kid and would be crushed if he was killed. If I don't care about those things, if I reduce people to their politics, how am I better than he is?" I am surprised that the Fox board thought that Carlson should be fired because of that text message, even if Dominion lawyers could have used it to argue for damages for defamation, that its voting machines were faulty. The message had nothing to do with vote counting using Dominion machines. In fact, the message shows Carlson's concern for human life, even though he did not agree with what the Antifa kid was doing. However, let me get to the chase about why Tucker Carlson was really fired. All the reasons cited in the media are manufactured reasons by Fox to try and justify the firing. The real reason was to assert and demonstrate control of Fox Corporation by Rupert Murdoch and his gang. That is also how Tom Brady is connected with this news. In my May 4, 2023 video titled "Why I Don't Buy German Products, the Johnson & Johnson Story," I described how German masqueraders, people of German ancestry living in white countries, how German masqueraders in the United States orchestrated the murder of 7 young people in the Chicago suburbs in 1982 by lacing Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol pain reliever with potassium cyanide. The perpetrators of the crime were never found because by that time German masqueraders had substantial control of law enforcement and the justice system. As a result of the tragedy, Johnson & Johnson shares plummeted 30% and people sold their holdings. That's when German masqueraders bought them and took control of the company. Then they took control of an extremely profitable company. Then they started making products deliberately designed to harm human health, even kill. Examples include talcum powder and baby powder. Johnson's baby oil, which is mineral oil, a petroleum-based product, and Listerine mouthwash, which corrodes the gums. German masqueraders took control of other corporations clandestinely in similar deceptive ways. Since their existence was not fully known until 2000, they would target a particular acquisition, and all German masqueraders continued to buy that stock till they obtained control. In other cases, they would simply use threats to force some CEOs out and replace them with their own man, who would then work to hire masqueraders and also control the corporation by acquiring its stock. Rupert Murdoch got control of the Fox Corporation by similar dubious methods, including use of threats. When the existence of German masqueraders and their evil deeds were fully discovered around 2000, the non-masquerader side then used threats to force people like Rupert Murdoch from management force Rupert Murdoch out from management of their corporations. That's how Rupert Murdoch was not running Fox, really running Fox. In fact, management of Fox was in the hands of people who managed the money that our side has kept for my benefit. German masquerader national leaders such as the people working with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett and their assistants could no longer get things done with corporations with threats as they had been able to do with 4 decades previously. However, they can still use threats with individuals. I have explained many times before how our side got the hundreds of billions of dollars that they are keeping on my behalf. Germans had bought stock in the best US corporations in the late 1990s or early 2000s to control them and enjoy income off of them as rentiers. Our side simply impounded hundreds of billions of dollars of that stock and has kept it on my behalf as compensation for lifelong discrimination against me by German masqueraders and their allies in India. To those assets, management and effective control of Fox Corporation was also added after it was taken away from Rupert Murdoch, since he had acquired it by dubious means. Once the Germans came to the conclusion that they had lost all their US corporation stock assets for good, their strategy then has become to diminish the value of those assets as much as they can. Because I live in Tampa, Florida, USA, some investments have been made in Tampa real estate as well as Tampa Bay sports teams, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being one of them. To bring the value of real estate investments, masqueraders have asked their own people to move out of the Tampa area. They have tried to have Tampa area companies be acquired by companies headquartered in other states so that most of the operations of Tampa area companies can be moved out of state to decrease the population and the value of real estate. None of those strategies have worked so far because the population of the Tampa area is still soaring as are real estate values. Tampa area sports teams have also been doing very well. The addition of quarterback Tom Brady has proved to be an exceptionally valuable acquisition by the Tampa Bay Bucks. He has helped Tampa Bay win a Super Bowl in 2020, his first year with the team, and then make it into the playoffs the other 2 seasons. It brought in a lot of tourism dollars into the Tampa Bay economy. Tampa came to be recognized as a great sports town. Another great incentive for more people to move to Tampa and keep the real estate market hot. I've broken this news before, but let me state it again. Besides the Chinese, German masqueraders have most Indians as their allies. Their allies are the CEOs in all the tech companies such as Alphabet, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, and many others. German masqueraders were in the habit of ordering all people around, but the Indians put their foot down and wanted to be equal partners in the alliance because they will be called upon to apply their tech skills to help the World War effort on the German and German masquerader side against the non-masquerader side in the United States, British Commonwealth nations, and Israel. That gives the Indians leverage. German masqueraders accepted them as equal partners and began teaching them their ways of using threats in the United States, British Commonwealth nations to control people and the economy with an immersive experience. Obviously, they continue to do their best to bring down the value of investments held on my behalf. After Tom Brady helped Tampa Bay win the Super Bowl, they started targeting him to force him to leave the Bucs. When he did not accede to their demands, they started targeting him personally. With threats, they forced his wife to divorce him. Definitely, the threats would have included threats to his life or limbs. I had to warn the Indians that if any bodily harm came to Tom Brady, we would kill all the Indian CEOs in retaliation. They also used threats against other Bucs players as well to throw away games. The 2022-2023 season was particularly bad, with the Bucs making it into the playoffs with a losing record that is less than 50-50, meaning more losses than wins, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Tom Brady wanted to continue playing football, perhaps till he was 50 years old, which means he could have played for about 4 more seasons. But he was forced with threats to retire after the 2022 and 2023 season. Tom Brady does have a 10-year, $375 million broadcasting contract with Fox Sports. He says he will not start broadcasting for the 2023 and 2024 season, but for the 2024 and 2025 season. The reason he gave is that he needs 1 year to prepare for the job because he wants to be very good at whatever he does. He also wants to devote some time to his family. I'm sure Fox Sports will get its money's worth from him. Now coming back to the Tucker Carlson story. He was reportedly paid $35 million per year by Fox. The Indians working with German masqueraders learned that Rupert Murdoch was forced to relinquish control of Fox Corporation. Therefore, they used threats to put the Murdochs back in control. One of the reasons was that Fox Sports has a major National Football League contract to cover American football games. They could reward Tampa Bay Bucs players with broadcasting contracts, as was done in the case of Tom Brady, and were in the process of doing so with Rob Gronkowski. They stopped Gronkowski from the broadcast booth, perhaps with threats. To prevent the Bucs from benefiting this way, they used threats to wrest back control of Fox Corporation and give it to the Murdochs. Since Tucker Carlson is not a masquerader, they had to force him out and get a masquerader to take his place and pay him or her the high salary. That's why Tucker Carlson was fired. The reasons given in the media are just excuses to try and justify the firing. He may also have been threatened to make vulgar-sounding comments against and criticize Fox management to make his firing look legitimate. And of course, since Tucker Carlson was not a masquerader, his broadcasts were not favorable to the masqueraders and helped their agenda. Now you have the real story why Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox and Tom Brady stopped playing football. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos on important world events, World War III watch, politics, international business, how Bible prophecy is playing an important role in world affairs, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels Unmasked Truth with Harmanjit Saini to view and get information on the latest videos.